So, hi to everyone watching. This is Jonathan MacDonald here, founder of Thought Expansion Network, and I'm speaking to my cousin, Tevi Twackley. Hello there.
Hello.
For those of you watching after January 2017, this was the first video in advance of the series of videos. Tevi meets, Tevi at 10 meets, or whatever it could be called. Tevi, from my recollection, what happened was that we got speaking about interviewing some people inside the Thought Expansion Network with a view to understanding how they tick and how their thoughts are expanded. What was your take on how this came about? What was your motivation for doing this?
Um, my motivation from our initial conversation, as you say, about how to better access the information and the tools and techniques of the people within 10 was really the people. And for initially, my desire to better understand the wealth of people within 10, but also enabling people who weren't able necessarily to interview each individual candidate understand those individuals that exist within this community, and better understand the journeys they've been on, better understand why they're interested in 10, why they were looking to expand their thought, and how on each of their individual journeys they were doing that and able to do that. So really, firstly, an opportunity for me to learn from those people, but also then share the wealth of people with the rest of the community.
That's great. And so, how many in your talks? How many moments would you say did you get that feeling that you were really getting to the kind of the meat of it all, the real kind of magic gold stuff? Because sometimes with these conversations, you may find that there's a lot of pleasantries, but we're not actually getting to the nub of the situation. Was there quite a lot of inspirational moments in this video series?
Absolutely. Firstly, I'd say that 10 is the kind of network and the kind of community that almost self-vets people. And actually, the people looking to expand their thinking often are those people who are open to a quite a deep conversation, shall we say? But each of the different discussions I had with people were meaty. And surprisingly, everybody was extremely happy to open up straight away, and tell me their challenges and the things they'd gone through and how they had got to where they were. And one of the best things I found, especially from someone who's gone through difficult times myself, everyone has knocks and kind of falls on their journey, but and all of them seemed to understand how to recover from that. And so a lot of them have some great content in around actually what it is that inspired individuals to be better or to expand their thought, and to change their lives. So it was fantastic.
And what kind of what ways do you think these videos could help people? Or rather, another way of putting that is, who are these videos for? If someone's looking at this trailer and thinking, should I bother watching any of these interviews? What type of person would these suit? What kind of mindset does this address?
I think everybody, I think anyone going through a moment where they're looking to change or they're looking to understand change, from their personal perspective and directly what's happening in their own lives, let alone what's going on in the world, can see that everybody's going through the same thing and everybody has their own way of dealing with it. But actually, there are some universal truths that underlie everybody's motivation and need, and ways of moving from a position of being unhappy or a position of not knowing exactly what you're doing to one where you take control and you create and own the change that's happening within your life.
Awesome.
And I think that all of the talks demonstrate how people have gone from a place of being unsure to one where they know exactly what they're doing and they have a purpose.
Awesome. And finally, then, what would you say? How would you say the Thought Expansion Network has helped you in any way, if it has at all, or what impact has 10 had on you? And I know that obviously, A, we're related, and B, I'm the founder, but
Yeah.
what and so this isn't a promotion for 10. I'm thinking, is there actually a link between Thought Expansion and you?
Oh, absolutely. I think thought expansion has genuinely done exactly that for me. It's taken me from a place where my thought was something that I would argue had more control over me than I did of it, and was erratic. And the thought expansion network, not only my direct relationship with you, and the people within 10, some of the other really valuable people like Miriam, for example, has helped me grow and shape the way I think and what I choose to think now. But also the people. I think the daily conversations and the ability to ask questions, especially if it's an area of interest for you, and then gather other perspectives and expose yourself to other perspectives, for me has been invaluable. And I think it's a resource that people too often take for granted. And I think a lot of things in recent times have demonstrated the importance of different perspectives and exposing yourself to different perspectives. So it's helped me shape and almost test what matters to me against what other people believe. So it's been a really valuable resource. And these interviews and being able to have these conversations directly with people who are part of the community has just strengthened that for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Tevi. Well, thank you very much for doing these videos and these interviews. And for those of you watching this, obviously on the ten.io/videos is where all of these will be. They'll be published every 2 weeks, and once all of the videos are up, this video will be historic by then. It will be an artifact, but nonetheless we can look back and see how it all started. And for those of you wanting more information about 10, you can go to ten.io, 10.io. The IO stands for input and output. And you can find out about the thought leaders inside 10 at ten.io/talent, which is the thought leadership management service. You can join the Facebook group, which is the interactive discussion. There's been 5,000 or 6,000 different discussions in the last 2 years, believe it or not. And that's at facebook.com/groups/thought expansion network. And I'm Jonathan. It's been an absolute pleasure to have brought to you this, but actually I've done nothing. It's actually been all Tevi, so you can blame him. And and thanks very much, Tevi. Really appreciate it. Thanks. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.